So my number 6 is Ben's number 6.
Wow.
It's Codenames. I was going to combine the videos, but I thought that would do my playlist a disservice.
So do you now want me to explain the game?
I think that would be for the best if you didn't.
Okay, so Codenames.
Go on, Ben, go for it. 1 minute, Gary Smith's Law.
Codenames is a Euro game.
I've been here before.
This won't take very long. You've got blood on the point protractor. Yeah.
Well, no. Yes, Codenames. Everybody knows what this is. So.
Wow, just a big old slapping Gary Smith's face.
Okay. So Codenames is a game where you've got two people playing as the spy masters. They're at head of this spy organisation where there's this grid of names laid out in front of them that are all the different agents. And for some reason they don't know who's who. They've sent out a team of agents out to try and find out which ones are which. And so it's a word association game where you've got one player that's coming up with words to try and tie them together based on a little grid they have, showing their different colours, while the rest of the people around the table are trying to guess their different connections and things like that. Fascinating game. It's got lots of different replayability values in it and things like that.
Why don't review the game? Just introduce it.
And it plays with a whole bunch of people as well. So
I liked his explanation.
That's BS. You didn't mention the assassin. You didn't mention how you give clues. Gary Smith is rolling in his grave.
Well,
You've murdered Gary and he's
Smith
rolling.
can watch my video.
That sounds like. Why does that sound like a threat?
Gary Smith.
Codenames. We've just talked about it in the video before this, talking about it with Ben's. I try not to spray too many of my views to save them up.
Oh, they're all over the place.
Oh, the views that tip my hair. Codenames is an unbelievably good party game. For my money, it's a 6-player and up game.
And you bought it.
And I bought it, so my money counts. Which can make it difficult to get to the table. Because 6 people is... It's not like an off-the-cuff night of gaming. Oh, man. That was funny. Well, and it's got something that I really like in games, which is that it's a puzzle. I like solving a puzzle, and it's an impossible puzzle because you can't tie everything together in one go. You can't tie 9 things together. So it's got puzzle. It's a team game, which is like my favourite thing.
See, Tom, I have a team game on my list. I'm not a pedant.
My mind is blown. Team games combine. I've said this before with nothing because I haven't got any team games yet on my list. But
you have.
What's a team game on there?
Space Alert.
Space Alert is a co-op game.
Okay.
I've said it before with this game.
Because team games combine the best of co-op and competitive. Because I get to share my victory with somebody, or share my loss, and I get to beat somebody else rather than just beating the game. Because I love co-ops, but team games combine everything that I like about it. Because I'm a very competitive person. But I like to be competitive and not a douchebag. So if I can be competitive with people wanting the same thing as me, that's quite pleasurable.
Would you say that but would you say that because it's a 6-player game plus, and we're also we used to play quite a lot of heavy games, and we're trying to step back into that.
Yeah.
Would you say the fact that it's 6-player somewhat limits its playability now? With the new direction that we're going down, where that's a good number of people for a big game?
No, I don't think it does. I don't think there are that many big games that are that good with 6 people, TBH, because big games are already long, and 6 people is a lot of people.
Right.
One of its biggest problems is that one person in our group doesn't really like to play it very much. So naturally, when you've got a lot of people, Matt's going to be there, and he doesn't really want to play it. And it's never nice to play games with people who don't want to play them. However, I do almost fundamentally believe that with Codenames, anyone can play and enjoy it because it's only pressured if you're the spy master.
Yeah.
Being an agent is not a lot of pressure because if you make a bad guess, you make a bad guess.
Yeah.
And that in itself, the pleasure to this game that removes the pressure, and I almost did it on your video, but I didn't want to take away my good point, is that it's short. That's why there's not pressure. Whereas in other team games, like I really want to play Eclipse Teams, but there would be more pressure in that game.
Yeah.
Or even 7 Wonders, there's more pressure in that game because it's longer than Codenames. But if you've got 6 people, if you've got more, Codenames is fantastic. The biggest problem with Codenames is the downtime between the spy master thinking and the answer. But that is where this is a true party game because the best party games, I think, allow time for an actual discussion and actual human interaction.
For people to just talk about nonsense for 5 minutes.
You've got the game to talk about if you've got nothing in common with the people around you, but you've got life to talk about if not. compare it to, let's say, Avalon. I mean, who's playing Avalon at the party? I don't know, but that's a game that's going to cause people to fall out. Maybe
You
not.
lied to me!
There's no such thing as downtime in Avalon, which is to the game's merit.
Yeah.
But that's half an hour where you're on for the whole
Yeah.
game. Whereas Codenames, like, for instance, we once had a game night where it was for 2 people to meet, and we played Avalon, and that's a terrible, terrible idea. Whereas Codenames would have been such a better idea, because Alec and I are 2 young people thinking about getting together, and I lean over and I say, so do you... I press my bosom against him, and I say, oh, do you think it's that one? And Alec goes,
You know, there's a new thing about YouTube and like rating
oh no,
videos.
content! Oh, what have I done?
You know, you'll never get any ads off this.
It's just
YouTube heroes
But-
away.
But you know what I mean? There's such a
It's tons of intimacy.
there's a pleasant group thinking and pleasant intimacy. There's a pleasure. There's the same pleasure in Dixit when you say a card and someone gets it and gets that clue. This is that, but every turn. And Dixit has the problem of, like, let's say that new Ben
Yeah.
would play Dixit. We would have all sorts of in-jokes and little references, which are technically playing Dixit well, but completely exclude someone who
Yeah.
has not played
Whereas
the game.
this, even if you do make in jokes, the likelihood of you seeing those things actually on the table for you to guess about is very
like,
low.
yeah.
I've only ever
Yeah.
seen one in-joke,
Yeah.
and that was your, like,
Yeah.
you gave Claire's name, you gave Claire to get Bug and Teacher, because that's
Yeah.
your pet name for her and that's a job.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll be very interested to see what happens when we play Secret Hitler, and what it will do to Codenames, because Secret Hitler works quite well with 6, 7, 8 players, and it sort of takes a lot of the sort of gamier things that were part of Avalon, and makes them a little bit more relaxed, has a bit more discussion time in it and things like that. Plays a little bit of the same
don't
sort of
think
deduction side
I
of things,
will
but-
ever stop playing this game.
Oh no, we'll never stop
No,
playing
and I
Codenames.
don't mean in the sense of, like, we've got games on the shelf that, like, we play occasionally. I mean, I actually love this game.
That would
and
never
I-
go under the table, basically.
I would. It breaks my heart that I've not been able to teach this to the kids at the board game club well enough, and that actually is a detriment to the game, and questionable whether or not it should have won the Spiel des Jahres. Because I also taught it to my family, admittedly, like, not in the best of contexts, but people can be put off by this game. People are intimidated by this game. Playing it with people who are aware of, like, games, it's not a problem. But you tell a normal person to look at 5x5 grid and link things together. We talked about what a good game show this would make, and people can feel intimidated
I think
by that.
It's, if you were to take a lot of the whatever theme is on this with the secret agents and stuff, and just leave it as quite a open
bland
word association
Yeah,
game.
like
People will go, "What is this? Are we playing a daytime TV show?" kind of thing, and that might
But
be
people love daytime.
well,
quiz
Yeah.
shows.
they like quizzes and things like
Yeah.
that, but it might feel a
I-
bit sort of weird and sort of standoffish. But
Yeah, I think it's for such a simple game, and when you said it wasn't groundbreaking before, it's one of those things that, like, when you hear it, on the one hand it makes perfect sense once you understand it. Like when I heard about this game and I explained it to you,
Yeah.
you, just like me, I can't say this about you as much, Ben, because I don't know how you initially reacted to it, but I saw with you exactly the same thing that I had, which is instantly going, that's genius.
Yeah.
And we sat and we found one of the YouTube videos on
Yeah.
that allowed you to play along, and it's genius. It is absolutely brilliant. The downtime is not to the game's detriment as long as you are playing with 6 or more people.
Yeah.
If you play with 4 people, it is not the same game, because on my turn I have no one to bounce ideas off if I'm trying to guess, and that's the pleasure of the game. Like that.
it's the kind of game that I think, I can't remember whether or not we mentioned it before, but it's one of those games where you're like, why did nobody think of this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is what people say.
definitely.
Apparently, Vladislav Bartel came up with the idea in 5 minutes. He had the idea and he
Totally.
made the game in 5 minutes.
I
Yes.
can imagine him doing it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, it's, as I just said, it's not Spiel des Jahres. On the other hand, it is everything the Spiel des Jahres needs to be, because I remember I took Cards Against Humanity with me to Ellie's,
Yeah.
who's not a gamer, and to this event with lots of non-gamers, and we played Cards Against Humanity, and it was a classic example of playing Cards Against Humanity where everyone had a good time. And for most people, that might be the only game that they will play for the next year. Whereas I would love, I'm planning on messaging and saying, like, oh, I want to come up and I'll bring Codenames with me, and it wouldn't be the same group of people, but I know normal people would like this. I've explained this to norms in the pub, like Beth and Ellie,
Yeah.
because I
Muggles.
know muggles. Yeah, there needs to be a word for that. Buggles. I know they would love it. I will always. This would be almost my first port of call with 6 or more people, every single time, unless it was an event night.
For 6 or more people for half an hour. Yeah, it's a flip.
There isn't a better. We're waiting for someone else to turn up game.
Well,
'Cause anyone can step in.
Well, it's a flip for me between this Perudo and
Would you not say that
Skull-
Love Letter feels
Skull-
more of a
Nope,
sort of
because it's not 6
slip
player.
in?
yeah, not for 6-player. No, because
Okay, I guess.
I mean we've got the house rule about how we play Love Letter 5-player.
King of the Hill?
Yeah, but yeah, 6-player. I think it fits brilliantly into that. Right, we've got half hour before someone gets here or before we go out, or we need half an hour between playing some big
And
games.
Should be said, half an hour is a very long game of Codenames.
Yeah,
Codenames can easily last 15 minutes.
yeah, but for me, you can easily slot in Perudo or Skull to that.
See,
for me,
I like both of those games, but neither of those games approach this.
I think this is the better game overall of those 3.
Mm.
But I'm just saying, like I'd happily play.
I think
Perudo or
maybe-
Skull
This is
I
the
think
best
this.
party game
I wouldn't
that we
necessarily-
own.
I
Oh,
think
yes,
this
you choose this.
this maybe has a bit more of a right. I want to play Codenames in this gap.
Mm.
Whereas Skull and Perudo, I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever, let's play that, and not have put too much thought into it. Whereas actually making a conscious choice to play Codenames would probably been something for that gap, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's more of a conscious choice
Yeah.
game than it is just a yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Let's just play
I
Codenames.
definitely agree. It's probably the best party game.
I mean, it's on my list for a reason. It's good, but
Yeah, well, it's on yours. It's on the same position as.
Yeah, pure, but obviously it's over Perudo and Skull because it can go 7, 8, 9, and so on and so on. 10.
Yeah.
there's more
It worked well New Year's Eve with
Yes.
9 people.
Yeah, yeah.
I played. Oh, and also played it 28 times.
there you go.
There we go. Just as a tight. That's such a shockingly low amount of times. Super. Cool. Which leads you for the fall.